No one knew what was going on behind the scenes of Married with Children. The 1990s were a great era for television viewers. Back then, many TV shows became iconic and remained as some of the best programs. But one sitcom defied all odds to become one of the best sitcoms of all time. A classic sitcom that made history by becoming one of the biggest hits was the 1990s Married with Children. The story is a hilarious account of a shoe salesman, Al Bundy, and his family. Unlike the family-friendly shows of those times, this sitcom held back no punches and became Fox's longest-running live sitcom. The story of a failed shoe salesman, his housewife Peggy, who had no idea how to run a house, and their hilarious and misfit children became the top shows of its time. While decades later, the show still has millions of fans, and the show still runs on streaming networks. While the fans of the show followed every episode and loved the sitcom, most fans have no idea what happened behind the scenes of Married with Children. There are so many things about the show that you may find surprising, so here we will reveal some of those most interesting details. It was an expensive show. While movies are expensive, some TV shows can equal the cost of film, especially if the sitcom was a huge hit. The show Married with Children was a huge success, and it showed as the production cost of the sitcom was massive. So how much does the show cost to make? Well, the show lasted for a whopping 11 seasons, where each episode cost nearly $1 million. The production costs were so high that the profit margin of the show was low. A big hit. Married with Children was the first primetime TV series that came from the Fox Broadcasting Company's production. While everyone was hopeful for the show to be a hit, no one expected the tremendous response the show got. The audience loved the show, where the first episode, which hit the TV screen on April 15, 1987, had record-breaking views, and Fox aired the same first episode on the first night again. Had a different title. Unlike the TV shows of that time that showed perfect families, Married with Children took a twist and had a family that was not the perfect family by any means. The show's family elder seems to continually hate his life for having a wife that won't do anything in the house, and to top things off, he has a dumb daughter who is extremely outgoing and a socially awkward son. The show was the exact opposite of the feel-good show of that time, The Cosby Show. In fact, at those times, the name of the show under discussion for Married with Children was not The Cosbys. Later, the idea was dropped and the show came out with the title Married with Children. Ed O'Neill's playing Al Bundy. We all know Ed, as he was the main lead in Married with Children, playing the role of a shoe salesman, Al Bundy. The character got him instant superstardom, and he became a top celebrity. But how he got the part is a more exciting story. The audition of the role had a simple act where O'Neill had to come in walking through the front door of the Bundy home. O'Neill knew he was auditioning for the role of a struggling shoe salesman who sells women's shoes. O'Neill let go of a big sigh and then looked tired and defeated, entered the home. The audition he pulled was so impressive that it got him the role. A black belt. Some people know that Ed O'Neill had become a football player back in his young days, but not many know that he is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who trained in this art of combat sports for over 20 years and got his black belt in 2007. While he is proud of his acting accomplishment, the actor is often hoisting his black belt and tells people how proud he is to the master of the art of Jiu-Jitsu. Michael Richards as Al Bundy. We all know Michael Richards for his iconic role as Cosmo Kramer in Seinfeld. The casting director took the audition of Richards for the part of Al Bundy, and not many people are aware of that audition. Michael Richards is a fantastic performer, and it was only because the casting director Mark Hirschfield felt that Richards would not be perfect Al Bundy. He lost the role. However, this same casting director later proposed Michael Richards' name in the casting for Seinfeld, and Richard got his fame and fortunes with the iconic role of Kramer in Seinfeld. The children. Much like the husband and wife duo of Al Bundy and Peggy were being such a huge hit, so were their TV kids, Bud and Kelly. Everyone grew to love these kids, but many don't know that in the pilot episode first, the role went to different actors. The part of Kelly went to Tina Caspary, and Hunter Carson was in consideration for the TV role of Bud Bundy. The big switch came before the show aired, as the lead actor Ed O'Neill felt that his chemistry fell flat with Tina and Hunter. He requested a recast, and all the Bundy children scenes went into reshoot, and the cast that we love now came into the picture as Bud and Kelly. Katie Sagal's wanted the role bad. Katie Sagal was excited to play Peggy Bundy and wanted to get the role pretty bad. She had an idea of how to make the most of her audition, and she went into the show with the classic Peggy Bundy looks that we have seen on TV. Katie Sagal went in with her makeup and the signature huge red hair. The poofy wig she had on while auditioning impressed the casting directors, and she got the role. The Neighbors. Another hit character of the show were Al and Marcy, who played the neighbors of the Bundys. Amanda Beers played the role of Marcy, and she was part of every season, which is surprising as behind the scenes, Amanda Beers and the lead actor Ed O'Neill never got along. One of the reasons is that Amanda was an open lesbian, and some say that was one thing Ed O'Neill was not supporting back in those days. How ironic that today, decades later, he plays a role in the popular sitcom Modern Family. Peggy loved Oprah. Al wasn't the only Bundy to relish the boob tube, and reflecting how television ruled the 80s and 90s, that wouldn't come as a shock to many. Al's wife Peggy was always watching the TV. On the show, she loved the Oprah Winfrey Show. There are many episodes where Peggy was busy watching the Oprah Show, and in one of the episodes we saw Peggy, who would never work, get a part-time job so that she could buy a VCR and tape the Oprah Show. The Anti-Feminist Club. Back in those days, the TV show benefited from the fact that you could get away with many things. One of those things on the show was Al Bundy's Anti-Feminist Club, titled Ma'am. The group established by Bundy and his friends intended to prevent feminist power. They did seem to get a bit overboard with some episodes where many of the claims made by the actors of the clubs would raise many eyebrows today. David Faustino in hip-hop. David Faustino played the role of Bud Bundy, the awkward son, especially when he tried to get a hold of the ladies. Likewise, you see him in the sitcom pursuing his aspiration to be a rapper. Some of the episodes where you can see Faustino acting out his rap skills as Bud were the highlight of the program. But what people don't know is that David Faustino behind the stage always had a passion for rap music and was pretty good at it. Faustino entered the hip-hop community during the sitcom and even released an album in 1992. The show's theme song. People love the starting song for Married with Children, and most of the sitcom's norm is to have someone decent do the song. But for this TV sitcom for the theme song, the producers had one of the most iconic singers, Frank Sinatra, doing the singing. While he originally sang the song Love and Marriage for production in 1955, it was never released. The song came as an opportunity for Married with Children as the show got the song for their big debut. The rest is history as the song became one of the hit tunes of that time. Some of the guest stars. The sitcom lasted for 11 seasons, and there were plenty of episodes that had some great guest stars. Ed O'Neill was in 2 episodes, and you also saw Katie Sagal in some episodes. Christina Applegate also came as a guest in one of the shows, and surprisingly, while Bud had little luck as the ladies' man in the show, his real-life girlfriends made guest appearances on the show as well. Hollywood Walk of Fame. The show that made history and became one of the biggest TV sitcoms of our time greatly benefited from the acting powers of Ed. His character of a women's shoe salesman not only got love from the fans, but Hollywood also agreed to the superstardom of O'Neill. He made it to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where his star is resting right next to a local shoe store. Anyone who is in the entertainment business knows what an honor it is to get your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And the day O'Neill had his star ceremony, fans lined up for hours to get a look at their favorite TV actor and get his autograph. Some even had shoes in their hand as they wanted O'Neill to sign their shoes since his TV character was a shoe salesman. Buck retirement. As much as people loved the actors in the sitcom, they equally adored the family's pet dog, Buck. Buck was part of many episodes, and he came to the show from episode 1. Not only was he on set from day 1, but he also lasted for 10 seasons. Buck only missed the 11th season, as at that time, Buck was getting older, and it was time for the entertaining dog to retire. However, he did not go away without a party. The producers had a big party set for the farewell of Buck, and we are sure he must have loved his retirement party. It also showed that every cast member had an attachment as they worked together for almost 12 years. Bundy's Must See. Fans of the show know that Al wanted nothing more but to sit on his couch and watch TV. In fact, that is all he wants to do most of the time. But what did he see on TV that was a must-see show for him? Well, it was his all-time favorite show, Psycho Dad. Whenever you saw Al glued to the TV monitor in one episode or another, he was enjoying Psycho Dad. Maybe it was a subtle way of the Married with Children writers to tell us that Al was a bit crazy. He did have some fantasies of getting away from his family to live alone. Come to think of it, he had one too many such fantasies. A spinoff. June 9th, 1997 was the day the last episode of Married with Children went to air, and the iconic show came to an end. While the fans were sad, there was still hope. The spinoff was in plan, starting none other than Bud Bundy. The show would even have had the old cast coming in for some episodes as guest stars. While the spinoff never happened, the project is still something that can go into production. So, you may never know, you could very well see a Bud Bundy on our screens today.